Hi, I'm Ron Wilson, host of In the Garden. Container gardening, one of my favorite ways to garden, and I've got some basic tips I want to share with you today. First of all, make sure the pot that you're using to grow in is large enough to support the root system of the plant you're trying to grow. So make sure you kind of get an idea what size root system they have to determine the size of the pot. And always make sure it has great drainage. Look at the size of this pot. We grow nursery plants in this. Lots of holes on the sides so we get great drainage. Very, very important. You got a couple of things for you to remember. When you use potting soil, use a top-grade potting soil. Don't use the cheap stuff, and you'll use those year after year after year. But a lot of times they have no nutrients. Sometimes they'll add something, but most cases they don't. I like to use Osmocote for a slow-release fertilizer. Gives you light feeding throughout the entire summer. Then you can supplement as needed, and it's up to you whether you go natural or synthetic. If you use water-soluble, I've been using Miracle-Gro for years. I use Espuma's granular. It depends on what you're growing and what types of fertilizer you'd like to use, but do remember, as you're watering these on a regular basis, you're leaching those nutrients out of the soil. So feeding your plants on a regular basis in containers can be very, very important. Also want to remind you that when it comes to watering, which is pretty important as well, one way to help cut back on your watering is using a product like Soil Moist. If you look at these tiny crystals inside here, those polymers will swell up to about 20 to 30 times their size holding water, so that when your soilless mixes dry out, they re-release the water back into the soil, cutting your watering in half. And one last product that I've been working with, experimenting the last couple years in my containers, this is Core. You've heard me talk about it on the show. It's made out of coconut husks. I like to add Core, about 10 to 20% to my potting mix, and you'll see this starting to show up in a lot of potting mixes. It's airier than sphagnum peat moss, a little bit more coarse, but holds more water. So it's open and airy so the plants don't rot, but yet holds moisture at the same time. Core, the Soil Moist, sphagnum peat in your regular potting mix should really help to cut down on all of the extra watering when you're doing your container gardening. And then from that point forward, it's up to your imagination, because as far as I'm concerned, if it grows in the ground, chances are you can grow in a container, and probably even better. For more great information, including container gardening, visit our website. It's ronwilsononline.com.